What does it mean to be lost? And do you have to know that you're lost to be lost? Hello, my fellow companion, traveler, wayfarer, journeyer through this experience called life on earth. Many of you are familiar with my voice, and some of you know me by a different name. But the one who's speaking to you today goes by the name Enchanté, the revolution. What does it mean to be lost? Lost could mean being on your way to a specific destination, yet somehow being pulled off the right path. Lost could mean having a golden opportunity and somehow missing it all together. Of all the ways that we could define the word lost, I present to you my musical memoir, my official first EP called Finding Me in a World That's Lost, Part 1. You know, for so many years, I can't even count. Those who have known me to tell them that I was working on an album. And it's not that I wasn't working on an album. It's not that I didn't have any music. But year after year would pass and I would never be any closer to a completed project. In fact, I would always be distracted and sidetracked by some ridiculous circumstance or situation, some person and relationship, some obligation and affiliation. Well, you can't hide from God and you can't hide from yourself and think you're gonna have anything called peace. And so in my conversation to God, I would tell him about all of these barriers that were standing in my way, that were preventing me from getting to the next place. And God is faithful. So either the issue would be dealt with, like the relationship would be ended, the circumstance would always get resolved. If there was something that I needed or I said I needed, God always provided that thing, whatever it was, that equipment, that instrument, whatever it was. Let me give you an example of how faithful God is. My last known conversation with God about my barriers was sometime late 2019. I told God that if only I could just work from home, that this album writing process would be so much easier for me. Well, fast forward a few months later and we're in a pandemic and everybody is being forced to quarantine at home. Now, I'm not saying that I caused the pandemic. What I am saying is that I no longer have any excuses. So what does it mean to be lost? For me, it has meant years and years of traveling down the road of life, knowing that I'm supposed to be at a certain destination, but allowing myself to be led off track by that contesting voice that says, well, what if you're not? For me, it has meant living as a caricature of someone else's idealizations about who I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to sound like, what I'm supposed to be doing with my life, just to fit in a place that I was actually called to stand out from. For me, it has meant toiling and toiling and toiling as a slave toils in another man's field whose interests do not benefit the world when I was created to take it over. For me, it has meant many things. What does it mean for you?